Hey everybody, I'm Kenny and this is Sagebrush Soul. I'm an announcer for Live a Little Entertainment Group and we do all types of motorsports, but mostly monster trucks. In this series, I'll be making my 2002 Tahoe into an over-the-road vehicle modeled after an Overland vehicle for the many days of the year I'm out on the road. Welcome to Tahoe Tuesday. Hey everybody, thanks for coming back to Tahoe Tuesday. We're continuing with the storage with a rooftop bag. Obviously, I'd love to have got one of the hard ones. They're more secure. They don't flop around in the breeze or anything like that. I'm kind of creating a hybrid with this. Believe it or not, that one is empty. And the idea I had worked so far. It's not exactly how I visualized it, but I started with the Amazon Basics one. I went inexpensive because I wasn't sure how much I was going to like it. There's a link in the description below, but you can see in the photo of it, like it's beautiful. It's all puffed up. It's like it's full. This is mostly going to be for clothing and stuff like that to help take a little pressure off of the storage in there. So it's not necessarily always going to be full. Let's not waste any more time. I'll show you how I did it. I marked how far these fittings, because they're a little different than your standard plumbing fittings. They're not for plumbing, but I've marked how far down they go. It's 3/4. The fitting itself from here to here is 1 3/4. So when I make my cuts, I need to subtract 2 inches from the PVC, and I need 33.5, I think. So I'm going to cut the PVC down to 31.5. When it comes to cutting PVC, you can spend a bunch on one of these. If you're cutting it every day, by all means, spend a little extra money. But I think these are just under 15 bucks at the Home Depot. And if you're doing a project like this, it's just gonna save you a ton of time. It's gonna give you a cleaner, more accurate cut. I'll show you how it works. When I'm measuring this, you can see a seam, a corner piece where the seam comes together. I'm just assuming that is going to be the best place for the measurement. I'm going pretty much to the seam. So the first one was 33.5 across the front, and this one is going to be about, I'm going to go with 43.25. I think that'll be good. Actually, I'm going to start at 43.5. I can always cut it down. But it's really hard to stretch this shit. See how that fits in there. Well, it's moving along quite nicely, but I obviously am not going to have enough PVC to do the rest of it. But I bought 2 10-foot pieces. I really didn't draw this out. Yeah, I'm going to need a minimum of 20 more feet. That's crazy. This project is going to take at least 40 feet. But I got to figure out, I like how this is going. I'm going to do these uprights, try to get an estimate of how tall it needs to be, so I can do some math and figure out exactly how much PVC I'm going to need. So I'm going to do it different. I'm going to add 3/4 to that mark, which is going to give us about 6 5/8. I'm pretty happy with it so far. just not happy with the fact that I didn't get enough stuff. We don't have any more of this kind of PVC here at the shop. I was afraid I might need a cross member. I don't know, it just depends on what the heat's gonna do to it. But for now, this is as far as I can go. So I made a quick run to the Home Depot and got another couple sticks of this. And this is 1/2 inch PVC pipe, but I cut it down in the parking lot because I took the Tahoe, forgot, didn't take my truck, that a 10-foot stick of this won't fit in the Tahoe. So I took the cutter with me, cut it down. You're gonna see just how snug these are and see if I wanna, yeah, they're pretty snug. They need to be a little bit, but too snug. They seem to put too much pressure on the zippers, so this will at least give us our square. And I'm using Schedule 40. I don't know if they make the thinner stuff that you can get at just a hardware store this size, but I think we want it because heat is going to put some pressure on it. It might bow. Some other things that you can do to stiffen them up, you could put a dowel in there, or even metal. Of course, the expense is going to go up there. I think this feels pretty good. I think it's going to be all right. I just want to make sure it's not too tight. I might take 1/8 off of everything just to get it to fit in here a little bit better. Again, I don't want to stress those zippers too much, but I do want it to have kind of a nice full look to it. And I do have some keys so that, I'm not sure where you can see it best. I do have some keys, so if I need to put another cross brace right there, I don't know if I'm gonna need to. I only have 6 of them, so I'd only be able to put like one here, one there, and then again, run back and get some more keys, but I don't know, that feels pretty darn good. Let's see how it zips. Yeah, that might be just a little much. Yeah, by the time I get the uprights or whatever we decide to do there, zippers don't quite want to make the turn. Instead of taking all 4 sections out, I'm going to go ahead and leave those the length they are to stay tight in the bottom corners. Now just take like 1/4 inch out, and that should give it enough, there should be enough flex in here to let it taper in just ever so slightly to make that easier to zip. It's almost there. This corner is still a little bit tough, and obviously it's because it's sitting in here, so I'm going to take just a little bit out of this top one, and the top one only, probably not even a full 1/4. When you're trimming just small amounts, this tool sometimes doesn't fully support it, so you don't get a clean cut, but I just, it ain't pretty, but it'll be hidden by that. So sometimes you have to take a couple of shots at it. Just going around and testing and seeing if I don't make it super easy to get into, then I'm going to be deterred from using it, and I definitely want to use it. That's good enough for now. I can always go back and loosen them up. I want to leave a little room for air if these do flex and bow. Again, I don't want them to be too tight to make sure that I don't go, oh, it's a pain in the butt to put something in or get something out. So now I gotta figure out how to tent these corners up, and I just want to see if I can bend a piece of that. I'm gonna start with a foot of it to let it come out here a little bit. I don't think I'm gonna try to do a full lid across the top of here, just because that would be hard to put stuff in. I mean, if it did, it'd come in this far and that would leave a lot of room, but I don't think I'd be able to get my suitcase and some of the other gear I plan on hauling up there. So we'll just experiment with that a little bit. All right, so I spared you the figuring out. I think this is gonna work pretty good on our shape. I started out with a 1-foot piece of the 1/2 inch PVC and just used heat to shape it into this form, and I'll show you how I do that. I'm using a torch, but you could easily use a heat gun on it, and be careful. Every bit of this stuff that we're working with is flammable. If you use a torch, you gotta go really slow. If you see a flame, get it loose. We got fire extinguishers all over in here. Heat gun would probably be a good way to go. I was just kind of in a hurry, didn't want to go find another cord, but I'll show you how I made this. Start off by putting it down in here. So I'm gonna heat as close to right here as I dare to, because right about here is where I want the bend to start. I don't want to mangle the fitting. I don't want that to get disfigured at all. So it'll start to arc right here. And then I'll use my prototype as a guide as I go to try to make it as close as possible. Around as much as possible, as evenly as possible. And it will be very hot. I'm just trying to shape it, give it a little bit more of its round form. Yes, that is one. Looking pretty similar, but this mostly is extra. I don't know if you can see, but this is obviously going to be a little bit higher. I didn't get the bend exact, but that's okay because I can trim that down until they're pretty close. I'm just eyeballing about the 3/4 of an inch that's going to go in. But it might be okay. It's not that far off. I'm going to let that cool and get pretty rigid before I move on to the next step. And that stuff does put off some vapors. So I recommend wearing a respirator anytime you're heating PVC or cutting PVC with a saw or something like that. It puts off some pretty nasty stuff. The shop here is well ventilated. I'm trying not to inhale so I can talk to you. All right, now we're pretty well set. So I'm gonna line up the bends on this, make a mark where the bend starts. So far so good, kind of fills up that space. It is pushing down on those, so I think on the next ones I'll leave them kind of arched up just to give them a little bit of spring. And obviously I don't have these ones in, that's going to put a little more tension on that, so I'll make 2 more and see what we got. I got all 4 corners in and I tested it to see how it looked, and it looks better than just sitting there on the top. But I noticed as I was working on it, like I could probably put 1 cross brace here, and if I figured out which the business side was, which side I was going to be in and out of the most, it wouldn't really hinder anything with just 1. So I don't have any regular couplers, but I bought these keys because I thought I was going to have to put some in here, and time will tell at that point. I've got some keys that we can at least test the concept with and see how that would look. And these do give you still quite a bit of flexibility. Probably still just a little tighter. But depending on if you knew what was going to be in there all the time, you could even do a down post to even kind of stretch that up, or maybe even just one right in the center. That's a possibility. Just for fun, because I don't necessarily have to have a cross piece fitting for that. I think I'll put one in this side too. Well, the only thing left to do is bring it in, put it on the Tahoe, see how it looks. So I flipped it around. I've got the opening now to the back. I've got all my straps adjusted. We're gonna see how easy it is to put a suitcase in and access it from the rear bumper. Got my tire step on here. That went a lot better than I thought it would. That's gonna save a lot of space on the inside of the Tahoe going to shows. I can also put some mud boots and other things like that. Not high big ticket items or anything like that that'd be easy to steal. You can put a lock on the zippers, but obviously, you know, somebody was really determined they could pull the whole thing off in a couple of minutes. So I'll do some testing with this. I'm gonna be going home here in a few days. It'll give me a solid 150 miles of freeway speeds to test and see how noisy it is, how it holds together. Probably gonna be some moisture, as you can tell we had some today. So we'll give it a good test. I'll do a review. I'll be doing little updates on the shorts until I get a whole lot of information. I'm probably not gonna make a whole video reviewing the stuff, but just keep an eye on those shorts because I will be letting you know what's going on with all of this stuff as we go. I'm Kenny, this is Sagebrush Soul, and may the best of your past be the worst of your future.